Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel and Happy New Year. This is the first video of the year and we're kicking it off with fun facts. And this time we're going to be discussing yet another African country, and the star of the show this time is Angola. So without further ado, let's Fun fact number one of the largest waterfalls in Africa is located in Angola. It is called the Calendula Falls. Some say it is the second largest waterfall in Africa. I was not able to confirm that, but if you do know any information about that, do let us know in the comments. The first one being, of course, Victoria Falls from my country. If you haven't checked it out yet, you should. I did mention it in the fun facts about Zimbabwe, and I also did in the fun facts about Zambia, where I talked about the Devil's Pool. It's extremely interesting. You should check it out. The Calendula Falls is not the only falls in Angola. There is also Ruacana Falls, and you should probably keep this in mind if you're gonna visit there. You'll be able to see two of the most immaculate falls in Africa. Well, the men that are watching this video are probably going to love this one. There is a shortage of men in Angola, and this is due to the civil war, which started in 1975 and lasted up until 2002. As a result, there is a high popularity of polygamy in Angola. I do not know why this is funny to me. I mean, it's a tragedy because it resulted from a lot of men dying in the civil war. But I know how excited a man would be about this, especially if Angola was an incredibly thriving country. Some people will be thinking, oh, we need to go there. There was a rumor about Swaziland wanting men to come, welcoming, like giving asylum to men so that they can come and marry the very big population of Swazi women, and I think it turned out to be fake. But the excitement there was on social media about this, but Zimbabwean men, for example, were thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna go now, we're gonna go to a place, another place instead of South Africa, we'll go to Swaziland. South African men were excited. We're gonna go to Swaziland. Well, it's called Eswatini now, but we're gonna go to Eswatini and we're gonna get wives. Maybe we're gonna get more than one. Really excited. Like, I think those that cheat especially would be very excited about this, because then they wouldn't have to cheat. It would actually be legal and culturally approved. Speaking of culturally approved, in Angola it is actually not a cultural norm and it is actually not legal, but it is widely practiced. I think maybe police and the government or whatever, they turn a blind eye because they know that this is basically a crisis. And anyway, the more children are born, the more boy children are born, the more chances there is to build the country's population and make sure that it actually, matches up. What do you think about that one? In my previous video, I touched a little bit on how beneficial it would have been for single men in nearby countries that would have wanted to go and balance up Angola's population if Angola was a thriving, rich country, right? Well, get this. On paper, let me just say on paper, it actually is one of the richest African countries there is. It's on the top 10 richest African countries, and this is because of its gas and oil resources as well as precious diamonds. So I don't know what to say about this. I think I don't know enough to talk on it, but a lot of people in Angola are living in poverty despite this information that I just told you. So I don't know, but anyway, it is on the top 10, and there is one other country that we have already covered that is on this list, and that is South Africa. I would have expected South Africa is thriving in a sense, compared to other countries. I thought maybe Botswana will be there as well, but it is not. There's Angola. Fun fact number 4. So it is illegal to click on pictures of government buildings or even looking at them through binoculars. Yes, travelers, it is illegal. You should not, absolutely not do that. The penalty for doing this is getting your equipment confiscated and maybe even getting arrested. So now, if you're not even taking pictures like on a camera or anything of the sort, anything fancy like that, and you're taking pictures using your phone, imagine your phone getting taken away when it has your entire life in it. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of people that can afford to just buy another one and get everything back, but there's a lot that don't. Okay, that you might want to keep that in mind if you're ever going to travel to Angola. Now, here's something that I was not able to confirm that I also read is illegal. That's taking their currency, the kwanza, out of the country. You know, people do that very often by mistake. Like when I go home, I find that I come here with money that I cannot use here, Zimbabwean dollars. And those coins, I still have coins that I brought with me by accident in 2020 when I traveled there. Little baby's mom was in Zambia. She brought a 10 kwacha note, and you know, these things happen. So I would like to know, if you know anything about this, let us know. Is it really illegal to leave with the currency and go to another country with it, or this is just, you know, one of those things that you read on the internet and they're just not true and somebody just did it for clicks, the sable antelope, a very rare animal that is only found in Africa. It's so rare that at some point it was considered extinct, but it is said to be only found in Angola, which is pretty amazing, except I wasn't able to confirm this because there are people that say it's only found in Angola, but then in other sites it says that it's also found in South Africa, Mozambique, and even Kenya. So if you know any information about the sable antelope, I actually didn't know much about it before I stumbled over it during this research for this video. So if you know any information, is it only found in Angola or it's also in South Africa, Mozambique, and Kenya, anything else that you know, please let us know. One amazing thing about this animal, except, well, of course, that is a miracle considering that it was considered extinct at one point. The males have horns that grow up to 165 centimeters, and the females have horns that grow all the way up to 142 centimeters. And apparently these are there to protect them from predators. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, so let me know about what I asked about. Fun fact number 6. Like Mozambique, the official language of Angola is Portuguese. That's fascinating, isn't it? But like all the other African countries that we have covered so far, there are some native languages that were preserved that are still being spoken in Angola. I do not want to butcher any of the pronunciations, so I'll just put them on the screen. Fun fact number 7. I've known that the Kikongo language, pardon me if I am butchering the pronunciation, but moving on, that it is a language that is spoken in Congo. But while I was doing research for this video, I found that it is also spoken in Angola, as you may have seen on my list on the previous point. And this makes sense because Angola was part of the African Kingdom of Congo, which included northern Angola, some parts of the DRC, and southern Gabon. Isn't that interesting? Do you ever wonder about things like this, like how things would have turned out if such kingdoms were never disrupted, if it just stayed that way, where we would be today without colonization? Fun fact number 8. The richest woman in Africa was once an Angolan woman named Isabel dos Santos, who is Jose. I apologize if I'm butchering this, but I don't know if it's Jose or Jose Eduardo dos Santos, who is the former president of Angola, who, by the way, ruled for almost 40 years. Her being the richest woman in Africa was declared by Forbes in 2013 when her net worth was 3.5 billion. In the following years, however, she had corruption charges levied against her. She had frozen assets in 3 different countries. She had another country suing her for unpaid debt, which of course her net worth continued to decline. In February of 2020, her net worth was 2.2 billion. In 2021, however, Forbes dropped her because they said, according to their calculations, she was no longer a billionaire. Her frozen assets combined were said to be over 1.6 billion. So yeah, she was going through a lot. She's not a pauper, just by the way. She lives in Dubai, between Dubai and Portugal, I think. She's living a good life, even though she's not a billionaire anymore. She's still a multimillionaire. The richest woman currently in Africa is from Nigeria, but I think perhaps we should discuss that when we talk about Nigeria. Fun fact number 9. So we spoke about koi sands in several of the videos that I have made before about other African countries, namely South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana. I'm not sure if I talked about them in the other African countries that I've talked about, but they exist in each and one of these, and it is not supposed to be a surprise, but it was to me that they still, about 5,000 of them still exist in Angola. Did you know this? Did you know that those people, they are groups of them? It's not a lot, of course, but there's groups of them all over the place that still follow their indigenous ways, and they just live similarly to how, you know, their or our ancestors did. I find it really remarkable. Maybe I'm just clouded by all the things that I hear about on the internet about ancestors and stuff like that. But did you know? And what do you think about this? Fun fact number 10. Did you know that Angola is said to be the birthplace of dreadlocks? Yes, that is very interesting in my opinion, because I think I first knew dreadlocks as something that is from Jamaica, so I thought maybe it came from Jamaica, but obviously, like, people in Jamaica are black and they have African roots, so maybe it did originate from Angola. A lot of people say that its earliest roots are traced back to Angola. However, there's a lot of people that say some of the mummies in Egypt have dreadlocks and this traces way back. Like, nobody talks about an exact timeline when it comes to Angola, but people do mention timelines when it comes to Egypt. So I do not have much information when it comes to this, and I thought maybe I could pose this as a question. Do you know some information about Angola being the birthplace of dreadlocks, or Egypt, or any other place? Because some people even say the Vikings did it first. So let me know. Fun fact number 11. Well, this is not that much of a fun fact. It's not fun at all, but it is important. It's an important fact for tourists and maybe expats in Angola. You should remember that public healthcare it pretty sucks. Apparently the hospitals there are always underfunded, and as a result they are always understaffed as well. So also it would really make matters worse if you cannot speak Portuguese. If you can speak Spanish, it can make it a little bit better, because there are some hospitals that have doctors and nurses that speak Spanish as well, but there's rarely ever anybody that speaks English. And if you have any chronic illnesses, you should probably have more than enough of your supply of medicine, because the pharmacies there are also normally understocked. So that is something to really keep in mind if you're going to visit the beautiful country of Angola. When it comes to healthcare, it's a bit of a downside. And also another thing you can do, just in case you do find just in case you need some medication that you can't just always carry around, or if you stay longer or something like that, you can carry your proof of prescription, and then you can go to the pharmacies there. Those that belong to public hospitals, they open for a limited time, so a few hours or whatever the case is, maybe during the day, and they close, not to mention that they are normally understocked. And then the private hospitals, they open for 24 hours. Private pharmacies also open for 24 hours. Actually, it would help a lot if you can afford private healthcare. Yes, it'll be better if you can afford private healthcare if you're traveling to Angola, because yeah, it might be a bit of a shit show for someone that needs medication and can only speak English. I also read somewhere that they don't normally, I don't know, it's not really a legal thing, but it's something that's known. They don't just help tourists and expats in public hospitals. I read this somewhere, but I don't have proof of it, but I did see a post recently of something happening in one of the Caribbean countries, and yeah, things like that happen. So friends, that is all that I have for you when it comes to Angola. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know which fact you love the most, and which country you would like me to talk about next, and I will see you on the next video, which I don't know what it will be, but that's why you're going to subscribe and stick around and see what it's gonna be. Bye.